the employer made the decision to remove the locks and energize the equipment. As a result, the worker was caught in the conveyor and suffered fatal injuries.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Every single week, workers are on the move, and so are bosses. And so we like to take a look at what bosses were up to last week, particularly in light of the fact that every evening on the local news, you're going to see the mugshot of some poor soul who stole some chapstick at the local CVS. And you're not going to see a whole lot of mugshots of bosses, despite the fact that theft by bosses, wage theft, things like this, account for more theft than all other property crime combined. They don't like you knowing that. You are just as likely to get killed on the job than you are as you are to be murdered, right? And so, folks don't. Despite that, you're not going to see a whole lot of stories about that on the news. You're not going to see mugshots of bosses and people responsible for that, for the theft and killing of working people. So we like to do what we can to provide a corrective. And so every week we have a segment called Boss Watch, where we do just that. This week we're going to start in Florida, where a federal investigation into the death of a 39-year-old maintenance employee found that the two contractors responsible for the job site could have prevented the incident by communicating and following safety rules designed to prevent the unexpected startup of machinery. Investigators with the Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration found that on August 4th, 2023, a worker employed by GNR Mineral Services Incorporated, a Birmingham, Alabama-based maintenance and repair contractor who was hired by HM Southeast Cement, LLC, was performing repairs on a screw conveyor system mounted on top of a cement silo. Despite the equipment being locked out and de-energized, the employer made the decision to remove the locks temporarily and energize the equipment to rotate the screw conveyor shaft to align the equipment for the repair. As a result, the worker was caught in the conveyor and suffered fatal injuries. OSHA cited GNR Mineral for 3 serious violations for failing to remove employees from areas surrounding unguarded screw conveyors, failing to establish specific procedures for controlling hazardous energy, and failing to inform the host employer of their lockout tagout procedures. The agency proposed $38,000 in penalties for GNR Mineral. The agency also cited HM Southeast Cement for 3 serious violations and proposed $43,000 to that employer. OSHA found that the employer failed to establish specific procedures for controlling hazardous energy, perform periodic inspections of the energy control procedures to prevent accidental contact with ingoing nip points and rotating parts, and review and coordinate lockout tagout procedures with its contractor. So totally unnecessary death could have been prevented if you followed the law. Nationwide and across the South, the U.S. Department of Labor does impact inspections on mines. The U.S. Department of Labor announced last week that its Mine Safety and Health Administration completed impact inspections at 16 mines in 11 states in December 2023, issuing 247 violations. The Mine Safety and Health Administration's impact inspections in 2023 identified a total of 2,739 violations, including 764 significant and substantial violations and 56 unwarrantable failure findings. A significant and substantial violation is one that is reasonably likely to cause a reasonably serious injury or illness, Violations designated as unwarrantable failures occur when an inspector finds aggravated conduct that constitutes more than ordinary negligence. The agency conducts impact inspections at mines that merit increased agency attention and enforcement due to poor compliance history, previous accidents, injuries and illnesses, and other compliance concerns. Of the 247 violations that MSHA identified in December, 57 were evaluated as significant and substantial, and 3 had unwarrantable failure findings. The agency completed these inspections at mines in Alabama, Kentucky, Missouri, Texas, West Virginia, and other states. The Excel number 5 mine, an underground coal mine in Varney, Kentucky, was among the mines MSHA inspected in December. MSHA selected the mine for an impact inspection based on numerous criteria, including enforcement history and plan compliance and examination issues. The mine is operated by Excel Mining, and the inspection identified 20 violations at this one mine alone, including 9 significant and substantial violations and 2 unwarrantable failure findings. So like half of the violations in December came from this one mine. Specifically, MSHA inspectors found the following conditions existing at Excel number 5 mine. Inadequate workplace examinations. Inadequate examinations have contributed to fatal mine accidents and disabling injuries and were identified as a root cause in several mining fatalities the industry suffered in 2023. MSHA has placed a priority on improving workplace examinations, including the identification, correction, and documentation of hazardous conditions to ensure miners' safety and health. And other serious violations included not adequately supporting roof and ribs and inoperable fire warning devices. Inoperable fire warning device. I mean, that is, and not adequately supporting the roof. Anytime you think of a mine accident, those are the first 2 things you think of: the mine collapsing and an explosion, fire. Both of those things were going unaddressed in this mine. Absolutely unacceptable. Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. In Georgia, Covenant Woods Senior Living LLC and Bright Space Senior Living LLC, together Covenant Woods, which operate the Covenant Woods Retirement Community in Columbus, Georgia, violated federal law when they fired a 78-year-old employee from her position as a receptionist because of her age and disability. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission charged in a lawsuit filed last week. According to the lawsuit, the receptionist, who was recognized as one of Covenant Woods' Employees of the Year in January of 2022, was employed by the company for over 14 years until her sudden termination in February of 2022. In that month, the receptionist was briefly hospitalized. Upon her release from the hospital, the receptionist was asked by Covenant Woods' general manager how long she planned to continue to work, whether she needed to work, and whether she would like to spend her time traveling and seeing family instead of working. Despite the receptionist's insistence that she intended to continue working, and despite having never previously raised any substantial performance concerns to the receptionist, the general manager told the receptionist that Covenant Woods no longer had confidence in her ability to work, citing her recent hospitalization. The company fired her the next day and replaced her with significantly younger employees. Super blatant stuff there. I mean, employee of the year 1 month and then fired the next month. That's
Right.
That's bonkers. Looney Tunes. Had a couple of dishonorable mentions. Investigators with the U.S. Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division found Old Jose Grill and Cantina stole from their workers when the employer improperly paid tipped employees time and 1/2 their cash wage for hours over 40 in a work week, instead of time and 1/2 the applicable minimum wage. Additionally, the employer misclassified one tipped employee as an independent contractor, paid kitchen staff a flat rate for all hours worked with no overtime premium, and failed to keep hours worked records for the back-of-the-house kitchen employees. The Department of Labor recovered $167,000 in back wages and damages to 17 employees. The U.S. Department of Labor recovered $460,000 in back wages and damages after federal investigators found Guanajuato Supermarket in Houston, Texas, failed to pay 104 workers overtime wages. I mean, $500,000 stole from these workers. All you got to do is pay it back. And yet you're going to see, you look on the news next week, and you're probably going to see somebody who stole petty theft from a CVS. You're going to see their mugshot on the news. But not those bosses that stole $500,000 from their workers. It's absolutely, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.